Thank you very much, Adadak, for that follow. Bear with us just a few minutes more, and we'll be streaming Pilgrimage of the Sun God. Stay tuned. Well, okay there, fellow pilgrims. I think it might be time for us to go live. Hello, and welcome to the first Adventures in Tabletop stream for 2022. Took us a while to get here, but oh boy, did we finally make it. My name is Pixel, I'm your They Them Forever DM, and today I'm going to be taking you through Pilgrimage of the Sun God, an amazing solo journaling role-playing game from Amanda Pratt, released during the month of February, which is a zine month. This is not a zine, as far as I can tell. It is a lot more sophisticated than some of the zine RPGs I've seen. Although, to be fair, I am very partial to the 1 and 2 page RPGs, so that might just be my bias showing there. But Pilgrimage of the Sun God is what we're going to be playing today. It is a wonderful looking game. Made this year, as I said. It's a solo journaling game about quests, temptations, and codes. We're going to get into the very beautiful, very well laid out book in a moment. I've got it up on my screen, but showing it to you right now would be spoilers. It is a fantastic game, though. I've taken a look at it, I've read it through. We're going to read it through together as we play, so we will all be experiencing the game as relative noobs. I pretty much have exclusively read ahead so that I can figure out what dice I require and what a character sheet would need. And as you can tell on the dice cam in that direction, it's physically here, it's over here on the screen, always going to get me wrong. We have 2d6, a d8, and a d4 in some beautiful white on orange. It's not the most legible on the d4, but a d4 never is particularly legible now, is it? But we've got, yeah, it's nice to be back. It's going to take me a couple of seconds to really get back in the swing of this. It's a strange seat to be in. Being the pilot of a solo RPG on Twitch, especially one that we end up playing with viewers. So we're going to go over what all of this means. We're going to go over the game. We're going to go over that, all coming up in just a few moments. But we'll start by dropping into chat. If you type at any point during the stream, as long as it's not been within a couple of minutes of the last person doing it, if you type !guard, as I have just done, you'll get this lovely message pop up thanks to the little bot that'll tell you what about the game we're playing, tell you about the sun guard that we're creating and traveling alone on a quest, attempting to hold to our code until we reach the end, facing trials and complications along the way, and then it'll have a link. It is a big message, so let's not spam it, but it gives you the link to where you can purchase this game, which is arguably the most important part of the command. So if you are lost, if you're not sure where we are at any point, I've got it in the title of the stream. If anyone else seems to be lost and I'm laser focused on the game, someone just go ahead and type !guard. Hopefully should figure all of that out for everybody. So I think rather than dilly-daddling and waiting for people to come in, I can see we've got a few people have joined and are lurking in chat already. Hello lurkers, it's lovely to have you. We'll start by going over the format. So previously the solo RPGs that we have played have been primarily either a PDF read-through with relatively little, if any, note-taking required. And we did that pretty much entirely in a stream window. It was a prompt-by-prompt situation, so chat and I, by our powers combined, we would figure out what prompt to follow. It was very choose-your-own-adventure. And that happened pretty much all on screen in front of us. We've also played another type of solo RPG. We played Dead Belt, a solo RPG for Space Cowboys, which involved laying out in a physical way a series of cards that we flipped over and moved tokens around, and it was a very grueling, complicated process, and it took all of my skills, improvisational and otherwise, to figure out how to make my webcam actually capture it all. So those are two different formats of solo RPG that we've played on stream before, and both of those, the stream input was very obvious. I would ask you what prompt we were doing for the Choose Your Own Adventures. You would point at, or you would highlight different directions that we could go when we had a physical map laid out. Pilgrimage of the Sun Guard is another type of solo RPG. It's a journaling RPG. We will be responding to prompts on the page in front of us, which we will all be able to see. I will have the PDF up on screen. But we will also be making notes of resources that we use, and we'll be styling our responses to these prompts at the end of each play cycle, I believe, in a written format, as a journal would. Hi Delta, welcome to the stream. Things go relatively well. We're actually finally here. I know you've been around for the last few Sunday streams and our Monday special stream, so you're aware how time has cheated me of playing this game with you all a few times this month, but we're finally here, finally ready to play Pilgrimage of the Sun Guard. How are you doing? How has your day been? Let me go ahead and let's start picking some resources up. There's one other thing I will point out. Down beneath me, and at various points on screen, you'll see I have a little bar that says New Pilgrims. And at the moment, we've got 1 out of 5 New Pilgrims. That's just a little follower goal that we have for the stream. So if you want to help me fill that bar up, if you want to recruit some people to come and take this solo journey together, go ahead, share this stream, grab the link, send it to a friend who's got nothing better to do tonight, and say, hey, how would you fancy becoming one of the last surviving members of the Sun Guard? And if we fill up that bar, something special might happen. And we've already got 1 of 5 new pilgrims, courtesy of Atodak, Atodak, who looks to have, I don't know if they've followed before the stream started, or if they've followed a couple of days ago and Streamlabs is just catching up. But it's lovely to have them as a new pilgrim. And I hope that we'll be able to find a couple more throughout the way. So go ahead and share some things. I'd say get in the bag. Why are you getting in the bag, Insano? Welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you, but why are you getting in the bag? What's this bag all about? I'm a little concerned now. The bag, get in it. Okay, Bezelbub, welcome to stream. It's nice to have you here as well. I do happen to have, if you'll give me just one moment, I do actually have a bag next to me. Pretty much. So I guess, given that chat has requested it, let's just go ahead and yep, this is an ominous. Definitely not gonna get taken away. You're still here, right? Yep, you're all still here. Wonderful. I can actually see through this bag. I could do the whole stream like this. But I won't, because I value my sanity. Thank you very much for joining the stream, Bezelbub and Insano. It's lovely to have you. I have now gotten in the bag. And for getting in the bag, you should share this stream with 5 of your closest friends. Take off bag suddenly in Russia. No. No. No, 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 no. We are not dealing with Russia today. I'm yelling in Bizzlebub in VC right now. Oh, I see. So there is a group of people who are presumably being interested and intrigued in what's happened, who are just kind of hanging out. Lovely. A new type of Twitch stream. Hi, Labard. Welcome to chat. It's nice to have you here. Yeah, look, a new type of Twitch stream would very much be just putting a bag over someone's head and then, bam, suddenly they're in another country. Drafted for the global conflict. Thankfully, I've got this really awesome little membership of a club. I don't know if you can see it. It's this one here. I don't know if you can tell what that is, but if you can, you'll understand that I'm in a very special club of people who can't get drafted. It's literally not something that they will do. But anyway, Pilgrimage of the Sun God. Let's go ahead. We'll get started with some overview of what we've got going on. We've got the dice cam over on the right of your screen, which is over here. We're currently looking at, this is the desktop view of my PC. And underneath that, we've got the PDF of the book right here. And we've got a little character sheet that I've pulled up as well that is going to be obscured by chat a little bit, but that's what I can do this for. I can move that around a little bit as well, and that way you'll be able to see everything that's going on. So this will be nice. This will be good to have. But Pilgrimage of the Sun God, this is the page as available on itch.io. It's by Amanda Pratt. It is $8 US or more. Feel free to spend more. We like to tip creators and make sure that they're getting the money they deserve. Frankly, I took a look at what's going on. I took a look at the previews that we've got here and read about the game and decided 8 was a little too low. I paid a little higher than that. Not much higher, but a little. But this is the webpage, Pilgrimage of the Sun God, a solo adventure game. It is a solo prompt-based journaling game where we create a sun guard and travel alone on a quest, hold our code till we reach the end. We are the last sun guard. And will we take up the mantle and ride the ancient roads? You bet we will. We absolutely will. Last I checked, I was the getaway driver, Bez. Oh dear. Oh, there's some van-based shenanigans happening in chat. I think people are currently attempting to kidnap me. Wonderful. Just so you know, kidnapping me live on stream does violate terms of service, and if I lose my channel as a result, I will blame you. But yeah, no, this is looking like a really good game just from the get-go. I'm really enjoying the vibrant orange and yellow. I love the art so much that I made it a part of the stream for the day. If you take a look behind the display, if I just turn that off, bam, that's what we're working with, because it just looks phenomenal. And there's also, I checked these out, there is a playlist available for the game. It's something that sort of adds a little bit of atmosphere. It's not Twitch friendly, so we shan't be playing it on stream, but it is available if you go to the game page. If you want to play it yourself and have some music chilling in the background for you, by all means go ahead. Does it actually violate Twitch terms if no violence is on screen? It's not about it being on screen, it's about it being on stream. So anything that happens in the background that people can hear does count. But yeah, so this is the game. You can go ahead and grab it. Again, if you need the link and you haven't grabbed it yet, type !guard in chat, and it should come up. You should be able to go directly from that link to acquire this game, and I recommend that you do. But we're just going to get into it. There you go. Delta's gone ahead and typed guard. Love that. Thank you very much, Delta. Something seems to be happening with chat. And that chat doesn't look quite right on this screen. Let's just... I'm going to take a moment. We're going to do a little quick bit of troubleshooting that might completely destroy chat for a moment. Well, chat is completely destroyed, but it now at least looks like it should be working. So if you want to go ahead and fill the chat up, say hello. This VOD I do plan on uploading to YouTube or another platform at some point so that we can carry this video on. So if anyone wants to say hello while there is empty chat and nothing to fill it, now is your time. Labard, destroy, understood. Delta, I offer myself willingly my deity. Who is your deity in this situation? I feel like we're about to find out in the realm of the game, but I'm a little concerned now. Let me just grab that. Just so that I'm not obscuring the book with the dice cam as much. Should be fine. As the only human who can ban me from chat, you... I see. Dibs, in this case anyway. Yeah, I can ban you from Twitch chat. I don't know why I would do that. You haven't violated the rules yet, but the night is young. The night is young. So let's just get stuck into it, shall we? This is Pilgrimage of the Sun God by Amanda P. Beautiful cover. Got a nice little special thanks down here. The first special thanks, by the way, is to their spouse, Caitlin. Who knows why, and nothing but love and respect for that. A bunch of friends who did some playtesting. We love each and every one of them. And thanks to us, the Pilgrim, for playing the game. Good luck on the journey. We're probably going to need it. And, oh, it's definitely a Zine month release. I am terrible. There is straight up a Zemo 2022 butterfly down here. Butterfly? Moth? Something. Here we go, we've got a nice big little cover page. Again, it's just really lovely laid out. These, I believe, you can get downloaded as spreads, which look even better. We've got just this one page view, because I think it would be easier for us to play with tonight. Got our table of contents and our introduction. Let's go. Upon a great mesa, a crumbling keep emblazoned with fading symbols of a many-rayed sun. The spinnerets were once blazing gold, a proud embodiment of a great order now fallen into days of lesser influence. The halls once echoed with the laughter of men-at-arms, the declarations of solar scholars, the warmth of many hearths that now sit bereft of heat and tinder. The Empire, before it eroded like a slowly aging ruin, was full of such orderly halls, and the stories of the realm echoed with their warriors and scholars' great feats. You, or us, are one of the last vouchsafed members of a great order, though you have only known it in its latter days, the Empire's chaotic dissolution a distant memory from your childhood. A strange messenger has arrived, calling the Sun Guard to ride the ancient roads, and you, or us, the only one fit enough to follow the quest wherever it may lead. Such blazon, many backstory. We've got a short play example here, which is probably going to be the most useful way to illustrate how this game is going to go. So we'll go through this now. So player Amelia, hello Amelia, has created a knight named Sword Saint Lark. She's traveling through the river valley and rolls for an encounter. She rolls 2d6 with a result of 2 and 6, then adds them up to 8. She looks at prompt 8, which says, a knight in crimson meal blocks the bridge across the river and will not move without a duel to the death. Your quest is incredible importance to you and your order. What are you willing to sacrifice to cross the river? Spend 2 resources, gain a deed. Amelia decides to wait until nightfall and sneak across the river while the knight sleeps, consuming 1 guile and 1 might, gaining 1 deed. She decides to describe the deed as Hidden Crosser of the River Zanzibar. She records it in her journal thus. On the second week of my journey, I found myself at the great river Zanzibar, guarded by a mighty knight that I did not wish to engage. I waited until the cover of night and crept with great stealth while the dread knight slept. So that's our short play example. This is what it's going to look like as we play the game. We'll be rolling dice, looking at prompts, deciding how to handle them, and then writing down in our journal as our knight, as our member of the Sun Guard, what happened. So here is how to play. This game is about going on a quest and doing great deeds before winter comes. It's about attempting to act virtuously despite temptations to violate your code. This game is about learning from mistakes, not sinking into despair. It requires a dice roller or dice, and so we've got our 2d6, our 1d8, and our 1d4 over there. A piece of paper, a writing instrument, and background music to frame a quest of great deeds. Alas, this is the closest that we shall get, because there is not a lot of great DMCA-free and freely available adventuring music that is actually DMCA copyright friendly. It's a lot that say they are, but none of them are. I know from experience. While questing, you will visit places, experience challenges, and spend resources to address those challenges. Your resources are might, guile, honor, and time. You will use these to complete adventures on the road. Might is strength and agility, honor is our perceived trustworthiness, guile our cleverness and social intelligence, and time the weeks that the roads are passable. Mark once per location, use as a resource. Understandable, fair enough. As we travel, we will attempt to earn deeds of renown. Deeds are short phrases that describe your actions to resolve specific prompts. They demonstrate your prowess. You'll want to gain as many as possible on your pilgrimage. So our goal, in addition to completing the pilgrimage and not violating our code, is to be that one poor motherfucker in every fantasy setting who has every title known to man. And as a result, when they are introduced in court, they can walk for half an hour before actually entering the room, knowing they'll still be being introduced. That's our goal. That's my goal, personally. I love this as a goal, so I'm adopting it, and it's ours now. Congratulations, chat. As we go through, and we end up in positions where we are describing our deeds of renown, by the way, we will probably be able to make use of the Name Something channel reward, which you can spend 250 pixels on. You have the Name Something. If you spend 250 pixels, you get to decide in the chat box what we should name something. If we get a number of people claiming it all at once, we shall take either the first one or the one that makes the most sense to chat as a whole. We'll see how we go. And this, I think, should probably also be useful as we go to our character, but also I believe there are roll tables, so we may just roll for a character. We'll see how we go. The cycle of play. First, turn to the next location and spend 1 time. Then roll 2d6 and add the dice. This is our first prompt. Read the prompt and follow the directions. At each location, you will roll for 2 prompts unless otherwise directed. Roll your dice again if you get the same prompt. So we can't have the same prompt twice, presumably in a location. Prompts are based around choices your character would make on their journey. You will spend or gain resources and earn deeds of renown. A few deed examples might be Cleanser of the Sacred Shrine or Slayer of the Dread Knight. Record these on our sheet of paper. We have a little section over here in our character sheet here. It says Deeds of Renown, so we shall be recording and redeeming those here. For each location, we shall write a brief summary such as this. When we run out of all resources, including time, your character can choose to end their quest or break their code to regain resources. See page 28 if you run out of resources. So remember that. If we run out of resources, we should go to page 28. And in fact, if I can, doesn't look like I can, I'm just going to very quickly in our notes section, page 28, if we run out of resources. Let's not forget that. Character creation. First, make a person who believes their code and their honor is their life. We choose a background below, or create our own. And we choose 2 traits from the background. So we've got... Wonderful. We've got, it looks like four options before us. The apprentice, the romantic, the cloistered, and the veteran. Now, so the apprentice's code is to prove oneself to other people through great deeds. Nice, all-encompassing. They are eager, curious, courageous, and immature. That sounds like me, honestly. And they have a cherished item, a handmade item of some kind. The romantic's code is experience life's banquet through poetic acts of valor. They are passionate, worldly, artistic, brave, and they cherish a loved one's token. Understandable, truthfully. Fair enough. The cloistered, whose code is to pursue knowledge and gain honor through sacrifice. Their traits are studious, righteous, ascetic, and tactful. Then their cherished item is a tome of knowledge. And the veteran, to protect the innocent as one's own person. Their traits are brave, reserved, approachable, weary, and their cherished item is a fallen comrade's weapon. So I think what we'll do is, because we're just getting started, we've not done this before, this is our first time being the last ever Sun Guard, I think we may actually take the apprentice background, meaning that our code is to prove oneself to other people through great deeds. And when it comes to traits, I think, and chat, feel free to chime in if you've got your own opinions, but I think that eager and immature, or courageous and immature, are probably 2 solid traits to pick. I'm personally erring on the side of eager and immature. If anyone else disagrees, speak up now. Otherwise, our cherished item is a handmade item. What's a good handmade item for an apprentice to have? Something handmade, probably something small that they can take with them. Something that will be useful to them as they go on long journeys. I doubt it's going to be something like a handmade map. Compass handmade would be, well, handmade implies amateurish, so probably not a compass. Maybe a sundial, so they can keep track of the time of day, like one of those like wrist sundials, which people definitely had. Those were a real invention, I guarantee you. Maybe a sweater? Not a sweater. Probably not a sweater. I don't know, what are we thinking, chat? Handmade cherished item? Any options? Any suggestions? Well, I'm not seeing any suggestions. I think what we might actually do is, straight up, it won't be a sweater, that would be wrong, but I think a patch from a childhood toy, or clothing. It's handmade, the item would have been handmade and it's all they have left, that's why they cherish it. That's what we're gonna do. Next up, roll 2d6 and total the die. This is your resource pool. Divide it now between your might, guile, and honor. So we've got 2d6 that we roll. We're rolling the dice for the first time. Let's see how we go. Let's hope for high numbers. We've got 2 3s. I don't know if you can see the second dice there, but that's 2 3s. We've got 6. Which is, I believe, less than average. Average on 2d6 would be 7. So, yep. We have to split it between might, guile, and honor. I think we'll probably dump guile. Like, at this point, we're eager and immature. I'm thinking 3 might, 2 honor, 1 guile. And then we add 6 units of time. And as a result, these are our resources for our quest. We create our character using the spark tables on the following pages and then depart. Ah, we have tables. Lovely. Love a good set of tables. So, why did we join the Sun Guard? We're eager and immature, so I'm going to say probably not politics and not education. Comradeship and community, I think, makes a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and write it down. Joined Sun Guard for a sense of comradeship and community. Love that. What do we look like? Fresh as new snow, rough-hewn sculpture, beguiling a twinkle, soft lined with care, knotted like an old oak tree, barrel-like and sturdy, fine as china, strong as iron, or cheerful and confused. I think we look cheerful and confused. But our greatest gifts... Clever, quick of mind, songs to make the heart ache, agile, swift of feet, brawny of bone and arms, empathetic and insightful, charismatic leader of the people. I think we look cheerful and confused. But a brawny of bone and arms. Wonderful. And what do we wish for under the stars? To remember, to forget, to keep a great love, to regain something lost, to protect others, to serve, or to rest. I think we wish to protect others. So, I've just realized we're kind of making a cop. To serve and protect. I've just made a cop. I say we, but chat, you actually haven't had much input yet. I understand why you might not have had much input. We've just made a cop. A sentimental, very mighty, very not smart cop. Look, Delta, I didn't mean to make a cop, but... We joined the Sun Guard for a sense of comradeship and community. We look cheerful and confused. We're brawny, and we want to protect others and serve. We're a cop. Oh, a cop with a P. Get your mind out of the gutter. We have not made a cop. Absolutely, we have not. We have made a police officer. Oh well, we're here now, honestly. We might just need to live with it. Judge Dredd intensifies I am the law. I mean, maybe. Who knows at this point, honestly. But oh well. We have ourselves a character. Names. Select a name. To let fate choose, do the following. Roll d6 to select the row of names. Then roll a d6 to select the column. And then a d6 to select the name. Okay, well let's do that. So, we are rolling on, that was a 5, so the third block. And then we are rolling, that's a 3, which gives us the third block, second column. That's our D6 name table. That's a 1. Astrid. Our character's name is Astrid. Look, I don't know any police officers named Astrid, so maybe we're a good person after all. Descriptors. Select descriptor to add to your name. We're letting fate choose. We absolutely are. So let's roll D6 to select the row of names. It's a 4, so the second block, and then a d6 for the column. It's a 1. And then another d6 for the entry. That's another 1. So we are Astrid the Careworn. Okay. So already we've just been worn down by how much we care about the world around us and the people in our community. Sure. Let's go for that. Looks like this example character has fewer resources than we do. I feel a little better about our resources at this point. And here we go. I think this is it. We're getting to it. This is the game now. This is where it starts. This is where things begin. The departure. Censers, smoke, and beeswax candles burn in the remote mountaintop shrine of the Sun Guard. The sun hangs low, waiting to rise on the horizon. The sword Saint Azor's blade heavily presses on each of your shoulders as you kneel on the cold slate tiles. Placing the sword down, the sword saint declaims thus, voice echoing in the smoky hall. The messenger has come. The signs are here. It is time to reclaim the ancient right of the Sun Guard, to pilgrimage to our ancient shrine in the Frost Cliffs, to declare the deeds done in the light of the sun. Go, ride the ancient roads, do right by all you meet, be valiant, be true, hold to your code. Anointing your forehead in oil, the Sword Saint declares in a singing tone the visions and signs for your vouchsafed quest. The signs of the sun you are under. On the next page, roll D8 twice, then read the sign motifs. Right. So what does this old man see in us? I feel like this could be the start of a porno. Delta! Don't make me time you out of my chat. Ancient police cult reinvents itself. Oh dear. Okay, first of all, we see our signs. We see on a 6, face surging from a hardened stone. And we see... what else do we see? Tenderness, a look. Well, okay. We might end up being not as much of a cop as we were before if all of this continues the way I think it's going to. When you have a chance to incorporate the prophecy's motif into a prompt response, you can avoid marking one resource. You can do this once per motif. Okay, I'm just going to quickly write that down. I've got these notes happening right now. Oop. With the Sword Saint's words ringing in your ears, you mount your horse and depart, riding over the edge of all you've known, down the rough mesa roads to the great beyond. How do you feel about leaving everything behind and heading into the unknown? Turn to the next page. I think at this point we write something down. I mean, we're eager and immature. How do we feel? How do we feel leaving everything behind and heading into the unknown? I think we're very much going to be cocky, so very much it's time. Finally. After many moons, many months. We're heading off into the unknown for the glory of the sun. And what was this man's name? Sword Saint Azor. So this is pretty much how the game is played, by the way. And I know it may seem a little dull at times, but I assure you that is just because I am typing in between reading. And apparently the thing that people liked most about me doing the Call of Cthulhu solo RPGs was me reading out the prompts. So forgive me if I take a moment to write before reading it out all at once. Departure. It's time. Finally, after many moons and many months, I'm heading off into the unknown for the glory of the Sun Guard. Sword Saint Azor claims to see faith surging from a hardened stone and tenderness, but all I see before me is the road ahead. and I am glad of the chance to prove myself. That's Astro. That's us, I think. But here we go. We've turned the page, and we are now crossing the desert. The desert lies before you, and across the edges of your memory, the wind, sand, and heat consuming your thoughts. You remember your last crossing, the grit and danger, and steel yourself. Mark one time, then roll 2d6, respond to the prompt. So, I'm gonna kind of do it like this, I think. The -1s here. And then we roll 2d6. Respond to the prompt, doing it twice, then moving on. First prompt is Snake Eyes +1 for 2. Hours pass like years in the pounding, relentless sun. You were terribly lost among the sand dunes and begin to grow weak. What does it cost you to find your way? Spend 2 resources, gain a deed. Oh, I mean, hours pass like years and we're terribly lost. I feel like spending another resource of time makes sense, and spending spending might probably makes some sense as well. As a reflection of how long we were lost for and how physically tough the fortitude we had to demonstrate in order to survive in this time period. And we get to gain a deed from this one. So I'm trying to figure out what we're going to be looking at deed wise. The road before me vanished in the desert sands, and before long I was lost in the ever-present burning sun. If not for my strength in the face of adversity and the thought of the guard behind me, I would have perhaps perished there and then. Okay, so yeah, and the thought of the guard behind me, I would perhaps have perished there and then after days travelling in hellish circles. As I just quickly pull up another example of play, just so I can quickly check what it looks like when we write down a deed. So we need to have a deed. Is Crooked Cop? I haven't actually checked the chat in just long enough that I can't tell if your Crooked Cop comment is what you're saying our deed should be, or if it's just a comment in response to the ancient police cult reinventing itself. Deeds for now. Let's like, Survivor of the Desert Sands is a bit too bland, in my opinion. But I'm not sure what to replace Survivor of the Desert Sands with. I think maybe Survivor of the Endless Sands. This is when you mentioned we may not be such a cop. Ah, yeah. No, yeah, okay, not a crooked cop, but I'm thinking Survivor of the Endless Sands for our first deed of renown. And we'll see what else we get as we move on. If we come up with any better ideas, we might go back, but for now, let's act as though this journal is written in stone. And we roll our 2d6 again and respond to another prompt. A lot of doubles. Double 5 for 10. Pitiful angry roars from a cavern. Within, a lion trapped in a great net, a trap for a lesser beast. The roars almost sound like a cry for help. What compels you to free this great beast? What injury do you endure if you try? Is the beast thankful? Spend one resource, gain a deed. Oh, by the sun I found a cavern. Respite from burning rays. Reflecting off the ancient sands. Within the cavern, yelping, crying out for help, a lion in a net caught my eye. What compels us to free this great beast? Ah. Let me just quickly check. What was guile again? Cleverness and social intelligence. I don't necessarily want to use my social intelligence. It might just straight up be. I think we might just use might again, which I don't like, but we don't have a lot of resources, right? We don't have a lot of resources going on. So we've got guile and honor, which we're probably going to use if we encounter people. So I feel like might is what makes sense. We're only spending one resource there. So here we go. Here's what we've written so far. By the sun I found a cavern, respite from the burning rays reflecting off the ancient sands. Within the cavern, yelping, crying out for help, a lion in a net caught my eye. Its courage sapped by its predicament, I looked into its eyes and saw myself, trapped by the endless sands, and knew it must be freed. It caught me once, twice with its claws as I cut the net apart, but the second seemed a glancing blow as it pounced out of the hole I'd cut for it. It turned not on me, but instead bounded out of the cavern, and I resigned myself to rest. So I think we do get another deed. We do gain another deed. And I think something along the lines of like friend of desert lions is probably what we're going to be looking at in terms of a what's the word? In terms of a deed and the name of said deed. Hey there, dumbass Sapphic. It's lovely to have you here. Nice to meet you. Careworn is a bittersweet title. You are not wrong. So, we are playing Pilgrimage of the Sun Guard. We are the only member of the Sun Guard strong enough to answer the call of the signs to travel the ancient roads to worship at our ancient temple somewhere on the way. And we did some rolling, we did some character creation. We're playing the apprentice of the 4 different backgrounds because we are new to the game. We decided to be eager and immature, with our cherished item being a patch from a childhood toy. We're pretty mighty, vaguely honorable, not very clever. And yeah, we rolled for our name. And we rolled Astrid the Careworn. So I kind of like the idea that with these other notes from our character creation, we joined the Sun Guard for comradeship and community. And so I've kind of gone with we're Careworn already because we're the only physically able member of the Sun Guard. We've probably spent a lot of time already caring for people and being worn down by that, which is probably why we're so eager to rush out and do this quest so that we can be doing anything else. And it is a journaling game, so there are going to be bits of lull in the stream where I'm not talking, and you'll probably hear me typing instead, and that's just a reflection of the type of game we're playing. It is very journaling based, so there's lots of writing and responding to prompts, and that's what we're doing now. And I believe, having now responded to 2 prompts, we now cross out of crossing the desert. We're no longer crossing the desert. And then we've got, I don't believe this is game text because it doesn't match any of the other game text we've seen. This might just be an example. But I do like, I rode for days, sun beating down on burnt skin until I saw the Sun Guard sign on a stone and found an ancient hovel of our people where I sought shelter from the heat. I almost imagine we make camp out on the horizon, glamorous and lush. Broken down caravan. It might be one of the other prompts, but we move on to Under the Shadowy Pines. Okay, Under the Shadowy Pines. What are we working with now? What are we working with now? Stream looks to have gone a little weird on my screen. That's fine. The air is clean and smells of sap. Drips of yesterday's rainfall fall slowly down onto your head from the trees. We've clearly made it out of the desert. The sun seems far away now through the tightly woven boffs. Mark 1 time. Roll 2d6, respond to the prompt, do this twice, then move on. So we're halfway through our time already, which is a little concerning, but that's okay. And then we respond to the prompt. So let's roll 2d6 and see what we end up with. 7. I don't think you can see the dice all the way over there, but that was 7. Let me move that. There we go, that one. Easier. 7. Eat and smoke. Oh dear. Everything around you is furiously burning, the pine needles and bark popping aggressively in the blaze. Do you lose your cherished belonging in the rush? How do you escape? Ooh, that'd be a very dark turn for Astrid. It's a very immature person. I think because they're eager and immature. I kind of like the idea of this being, we've gone down to camp for the night. I think we've gone down to camp for the night and woken up to the smell of smoke and our fire's gone out of control. As I entered the woods, the desert. I keep typing we because it's you and I, chat. It's a we, but this Astrid is one. As I entered the woods beyond the desert, I found myself places. It's weird. Yeah. I found myself complacent. Perhaps still a little woozy from the storm. So, in response to the heat and smoke prompt, here's what I've written, and I want you to I want you chat to that to validate me, to back me up on this if you can. As I entered the woods beyond the desert, I found myself complacent. Perhaps still a little woozy from the heat stroke, I took less care than normal setting up camp, and though I drifted off to sleep with thoughts of home and the smell of my childhood in my hands, I awoke to smoke and heat, an inferno of my own doing. I grabbed my pack and fled, dodging under branches and heading for the sound of running water, jumping into the river to escape the blaze. It is only now, as I make camp again, that I realize I must have dropped my patch of home along the way. Sleep comes slowly for me. So I think we lose our cherished item to essentially a bushfire, which is devastating emotionally, honestly. And in terms of resources, I think heading straight for the river and crossing a river to get away from the fire, where the sheer amount of water acts almost as a natural fire break, I think that's going to be guile. We can't lose any more might. We haven't used any honor yet, which I'm hoping we're getting to. That was quick. Yeah, I mean, look, that's I think that's 3 weeks the way time works in the game. So this has been a long journey. Thankfully, most of it has just been traveling. We've not had to deal with much, but this is horrifying. But now that we've done that, we roll for our second prompt in the woods. We roll a 10. Narrowing and winding, the road continues deep into the heart of the thicket. Are you navigating the woods? Are you being led by the whims of the forest? What does it cost you to find your way? Spend one resource, gain a deed. I think in the days that followed the fire, I realized I noticed rather. I noticed that the long and winding forest road seemed to cross over itself. Forks in my path seemed to recur. I could no longer tell if I was following the path or if the path was following it. Thankfully, I came across a fellow traveler. Who offered to show me the way if I were only able to pay, with no values on me. Even my patch of childhood long gone. I could not pay for the travel. Began to leave me at the crossroad. To my shame, to my discredit, I did not let him leave before showing me the way, calling the vengeance of the sun god on him should he leave me to die in the woods. Rage, I wonder if he trusted me to keep a word to let him go. I wonder if he even now expects to see me coming up behind him in the future. So yeah, I'm taking a very dark angle right now for Astrid. Because that way I can justify spending some honor. And unfortunately, in terms of deeds of renown, which I think we also need a deed for heat and smoke. So I think one of our deeds of renown is going to be Scourge of Woodland Travelers. I'm going to sit with that and hate ourselves a little bit for being dishonorable. Our code is to prove ourselves to other people through great deeds. And we're mostly seeing other people as members of the Sun Guard. So I think in that moment, Astrid, we probably thought, oh, this person doesn't matter, they are hindering our quest if they do not help us. But in reality, they matter too. And we've failed to prove ourselves as worthy in front of someone else. The first other person we've realistically seen since we got here. So that's kind of the vibe that that's where I'm taking this. Yeah, we also, we need our deed for escaping the Inferno. And it would be too grim, I think, for me to say, let's think of that as, the burner of childhoods or something like that, even though we lost our childhood cherished item. And I did also very much, that prompt I said was pretty much our fault too. I said that because we were so sun-dazed from the desert that we caused a fire. So, I mean, like, Bringer of the Desert Scorched, maybe, as a deed of renown? It's not a great deed, but not, like, there's not a lot of good options the way I'm taking these prompts. And yeah, I am kind of realizing that, we've made a really, happy-go-lucky accidental cop who's now experiencing trauma and might go bad as a result. Spreading of Ashen Sands? Oh, yeah. Maybe Bringer of the Ashen Sands? I think I'm going to leave a question mark next to that one. We can workshop that one later. But thankfully, we've now done 2 prompts inside the woods, and we can move on to the next page. And thankfully, I think we've managed to avoid... We've managed to avoid, like, having to hit people or anything. Oh, there's a couple of things where you regain resources, apparently, as well, which would be nice. Oh, what were our signs, by the way? Because I just remembered we can incorporate our signs into prompts and avoid spending resources. I just want to double check. I'm not going to edit things so that we have. I just want to double check. Our signs were faith surging from a hardened stone and tenderness a look. I think the tenderness is there in us freeing the lion. I think our tenderness is there. What do you think, chat? Do you think we were suitably tender when we freed a trapped lion in a cavern in the desert, risking our own life to ensure that this creature was free? I think that's tender. So tender, Labard? I think you're right. Yeah, Insano says. Okay, yeah, I think that's tenderness. Let's go ahead and we'll take back that spent might. And I'm gonna try and remember our faith surging from hardened stone and tenderness a look. No, damn it, Labard, I just forgot about that conversation. Oh dear. The tender, caring lion. No, 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 we cared for the lion. The lion wasn't tender, we were. Entirely different. Yes, the river valley is our next area. The river valley. Rushing water over stones and through the reeds. Creeks join to great rivers flowing down from the frost cliffs beyond. Blooms surround you in the great river valley. Mark one time. And we will do our prompts. So we've got 2 time left. Our first prompt is a 7. Mighty trumpets, colourful pavilions, a tournament of noble knights from all orders and corners. The Sun Guard has no representative here to defend its honour in the lists. Do you deign to prove your mettle? Spend 1 resource. Roll d6. On a 1 to 3 you are unhorsed, 4 to 6 you do decently. Okay. Alright. I mean, honestly, let's go. Okay, so we're absolutely entering. Just making that clear. We're gonna spend might. We're gonna spend that might that we spent on the lion earlier. This is definitely. This is definitely, I think, a show of might. Um, and we roll a d6, and we want a 4 or above so that we win the tournament. And by win the tournament, I mean we do decently enough that we don't dishonor the Sun Guard. Okie dokie 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 dokie. Tournament, 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 tournament. Hey, that's a 4! It's a 4 right there! We did it! We did it! Though only used to jousting posts and columns. Standing columns back home across the desert. Okay. I need a word. It's not champion, because champion implies a winner, but also a title that indicates that I am respected, renowned, revered. No. Um, what I'm thinking is champion of the River Valley, but champion would imply that we won rather than did decent. Not a word, but brain says successant. Yeah, vaguely, vaguely. It's like it's in my homebrew D&D games. Not champion, but defender of the realm is a title. So maybe I am. Maybe I'm a defender of the River Valley. See ya. In the valley of the river, where farmers tend to the land and lords tend to the farmers, I came across a tournament of honor. Eager to make up for my mistakes and to demonstrate the might of the Sun Guard, I enter myself and fight for the honor of my order for my comrades back home. Though only used to jousting posts and standing columns back home across the desert, practice technique and steady arms bore me through the tournament unscathed, and I rank among the winners. I am asked for my name as a champion, and I offer Astrid, the Wild Lion, Defender of the River Valley. And I am taking the Wild Lion, Defender of the River Valley as our deed. Our deed of renown. Because that lion is really, really pulling its weight in our background. Assigning herself a persona. Dumbass Sapphic, you take that back. Astrid, the careworn, is not assigning herself a persona. Astrid, the careworn, the immature and eager young apprentice of the Sun Guard, would absolutely use the TikTok filter generators, though, to create one. That I think is what would make sense to me. Food dinner, what on earth is that face? Oh dear. That's one hell of a face to pull at the immediate... And what a hell of a time to join the stream, by the way. Uh, Incredible. Love the energy. Our second prompt for the River Valley, by the way, that's what we're here for, is 5. Acrobats and colourful performers have set up a theatre. The play is a farce critical of the local nobility. Some guardsmen approach, grim eyes and sharp blades ready. How do you help the performers escape? How does someone get hurt through you helping? Spend one resource, gain a deed. I'm spending honor on this one. First and foremost, now that we've got it, we're spending honor. Further up the river, I came across a theatre troupe. And sat to see their show. Okay, because I'm using honor for this set. Ah, this is where it gets difficult, is trying to reconcile everything. Trying to make sure that everything is consistent. I suppose I could change what I'm doing and instead spend our last might, but I don't... I feel like honor is something I could probably use better here. Because we need to help the performers escape. Okay, I think I know how we're gonna do this. I think we know how we're gonna do this. Okay, so here's what I've got for our prompt of a critical local nobility fast play. Love that. Further up the river, I came across a theatre troupe and sat to see their show. The local lord counted among those present, and no fury was greater than his at realizing that the players had betrayed him as a charlatan. His fist raised in anger, he directed his guardsmen to arrest the performers, who had committed no great crime beyond staging an average play. As a defender of the river valley, seeing these fellows of the valley threatened by their lord, I stood in their defence and beseeched the lord be calm, which bought them some time. Though he took heed of me at first, when he saw the players leaving with great speed, he instructed his guards to chase, and in their haste they knocked into the crowd, breaking several bones of those still in attendance. Though the players escaped, the people now know of the wrath of their lord, and of my willingness to stand between them. So we have spent our honor on that, which has gained us some trustworthiness in the eyes of the people and probably lost us some reputation with the Lord himself. And we gain a deed. What deed shall we take? We, the wild lion, defender of the river valley, scourge of woodland travelers, bringer of the ashen sands, friend of desert lions, survivor of the endless sands. What shall our deed be now? Like, protector of players is very basic, so let's maybe have that as our starting point. Protector of players. Honestly, I'm thinking we go very, very silly here. We just say that we are friend of the theatre. That is our deed. That is our deed of renown here. Shield of satirists. Oh, Shield of satirists is pretty good, actually. I think Shield of satirists makes sense. I think that's a really good suggestion. Thank you for that, Dumbass. Much appreciated. And we shall, now that we have done the tournament and watched a play, I believe we can move on to the next, the next area. Ascending the Frost Cliffs. Okay. Just checking, we've got 1 might, no guile, no honor, and we're about to mark off 1 time. So we've got 1 time and 1 honor to get us through 2 prompts. The late autumnal wind shrieks through your bones as you begin your climb, with foreboding clouds threatening snow to cover the trail in the coming hours. Roll 2d6, respond to the prompt. It's two twos for 4. Thunderous hooves charge your position, thick horns bent and ready to maim you at worst. You are driven off the road, and if you try to regain the narrow path, the ram charges you, once again ascending from below. How do you make your way past the ram's aggression? Spend 1 resource, gain a D. Before we go any further, by the way, I'm going to just quickly, do we think that us standing up for the theatre folk counts as us being tender? What's our other sign again? Faith surging from a hardened stone. No, actually, never mind. I know exactly what we're doing here. So, here is how I'm getting away with not spending might, which we only have 1 left of, while responding to the prompt of nearly getting run off the cliffs by a ram. So rather than spend this might, I'm aiming to take faith surging from a hardened stone and work that into the prompt. And what I have is this. As I began to climb the cliffs, a narrow pathway with loose stone to my left and the steep fall to my death on the right, it took all my resolve and strength to stay the path. A pair of horns came out ahead and rushed me, a ram attempting to knock me off. I rolled to my left and a large piece of stone fell before me, standing upright in the dirt path. It seemed to almost bear the sign of the sun guard in the chips and cracks where it had separated from the cliffs, and in that moment I knew I would make it through if I stood my ground. Using the stone almost as a shield, I braced myself as the ram charged me again, and as it bounced off the stone, it scraped over the edge of the cliff, falling several feet onto a narrow ledge. I heard its cry, and I knew it alive, but I had no time to stop. Though I could not carry the stone with me, I thanked the sun for its blessings. Stone, hardened stone, faith from the stone. That's how I'm justifying it. Truthfully, chat, you can disagree with me all you want, but I'm pretty proud of that, and I won't be paying attention if you disagree. I kid. I will absolutely pay attention if you disagree, but only because I want to talk more about how proud I am of that prompt response, honestly. I'm pretty happy with how that one went. I'm going to go ahead and roll these 2d6 for our second prompt in Ascending the Frost Cliffs. See how we do. It is 5 and a 2, which is a 7. Oh dear, here comes more stone. Crash! Boulders hurtle toward your position, one after another, followed by curses from loud voices, like two pieces of granite rubbing together. They continue and get closer and closer to where you stand. How do you find safety? Spend one resource, gain a deed. Two loud voices like two pieces of granite rubbing together, that sounds like giants. If only I had known then that the stone for hunting oats was not tied only to the presence of the rain. Not hours later did I find myself ducking and weaving, dodging and dashing out of the way of impossible boulders hurled impossibly long distances by beings I could not see, but surely knew were there by the voices crying out. How do you find safety? How do I find safety? A chance, my pattern. Movements, their aim, compensating. Now, by chance, my movement and their compensating for my nimble dance. Saw large rocks landing side by side, and others both thrown and fallen, landing atop, creating an unstable but welcome shelter from the great throws. After some hours, I heard them leave. No more rocks found their way to me. Not hours later did I find myself ducking and weaving, dodging and dashing out of the way of boulders hurled impossibly long distances by beings I could not see, but surely knew were there by the voices crying out at me. By chance, my movement and their compensating for my nimble dance saw large rocks landing side by side, and others both thrown and fallen landing atop, creating an unstable but welcome shelter from the great throwers. After some hours, I heard them leave, and no more rocks found their way to me. Do we get a deed, by the way, from the Thunderous Hooves? We do. And I think we get a deed from Crash as well. So we're going to use the last of our might. That's where we're using it here. Unless we want to say that these rocks also... I mean, honestly, we could straight up say that we're having faith in stones and hiding in a stone shelter. Which we are. We're having faith in the rocks. We are having faith in the rocks. I think we can work that in. Another sign that... I think we can avoid spending might, because they happen to be perfectly two prompts right next to each other. I think we can avoid spending might. If you disagree, chat, on this one, I will listen and we'll spend the might, and I'll even have a -1 question mark next to where we spend that resource. I welcome you to disagree with me on this one, but I think after using a rocky shield to defeat a ram, using rocks hurled at us by giants to protect ourselves from giants, and having faith that the fragile balance of rock on rock on rock wouldn't just crush us, I think that also speaks somewhat, just a little bit, to us having faith. And specifically, having that faith surge from hardened stone. I think that we can. That's just... We move on now. That's our second prompt in the area, so we move on. We now have the endless stairs. Up and up, carved into the mountain face, thousands and thousands of stairs going around the mountain to the long abandoned hallowed halls of the Sun Guard. At the bottom of the steps, a warrior's encampment of the cruel dread arbiters of will, a militant order of grim renown. Mark one time. Roll 1d6 to find your way to the steps and through this perilous danger. Respond to the prompt and move on. So we mark the last of our time. We roll 1d6. 4. You manage to find a cavern that leads up, hopefully a secret way up to the great precipice. How long are you in the cavern? Do you lose your way? Roll 1d6. On a 1 to 3 you become lost, on a 4 to 6 you are not. When the Guardian asks you if you are worthy, do you tell the truth of your corruption? How do you convince the statue to let you pass unimpeded? Guardian. There is a Guardian. Okay, so there's a Guardian in the cavern that asks if we are worthy. Okay, this could get interesting. First of all, do we get lost in this cavern? 4, we do not. That is a 4, we do not. We do not get lost. What are they called here at the top? At the foot of the endless stairs, my final march toward the hallowed halls of my people. The dread arbiters of will set up and perhaps drawn by the same threads of fate that draw you here. Purpose is true. The rocky... My purpose is true, and through rocky beginnings, I found true path. Here thus far. Rather than deal directly with the dread arbiters, spy a nearby cavern. Pray, lead me to... Well, not lead me to, lead me past the danger. Lead me safely to the summit of the cliff. I do not lose my way, but happen across a guardian who halts me in my tracks before letting pass. They ask if I am worthy of my place in the sun. No. They ask me if I am worthy to proceed. I think on this, perhaps for the first time, perhaps truly for the first time, with my eyes wide open to greatness and to the greatness and injustice of the world. And speak my answer. I am no more worthy than any other member of my... I am no more worthy than any other member of my guard. But I am no less worthy. The mistakes we make along the way. The mistakes we all make are the markers of the path, and without them, none would make and without them we'd I think on this, perhaps truly for the first time with my eyes wide open to the greatness and injustice of the world, and speak my answer. I am no more worthy than any other member of my guard, but I am no less worthy either. The mistakes we all make along the way are the markers of the path, and with them I have found my way here. I have followed the path. If that makes me worthy, then I am worthy. Guardian stands aside. It allows me to continue on my way. So I think at that point we use our last might to take the non-stared path, which involves a lot more climbing. And apparently we gain a deed. And I think we need a great deed indeed. Oh, hang on, wait. Before we continue, I don't think we did deeds for Crash and Hooves. We didn't. We need deeds for our ram encounter and stuff too. Heck. It's kind of difficult to keep track of that, but only because I'm so eager to press on. In that way I'm like Astrid. So what do we have? Ram bounced off a rock. I think for the ram one where it actually like felt like we had a shield, I think we can go with I think we're gonna say like wielder of Sun Guard stone, and if we get past this and we get to go back, I'm gonna grab the stone and take it with us. And the second one, because we were very nimble and quick in getting past the stone giants. I think I used the word dance. By chance, my movement and they're compensating for my nimble dance. Yeah, okay. I think Dancer of the Stone Giants is a cool one for that one. And then this one here, for the answer we've just given to this Guardian, I'm saying I think our deed should be Marker of the Path. It's a recognition of the mistakes that we've made, but also a recognition of the growth that those mistakes have allowed us to make. Marker of the Path. Maker of mistakes. Learner of lessons. The Declaration, this is the next step. The Declaration of Deeds. The Shrine of the Sun Guard stands proudly at the top of the mountain, surveying the lands the Order once held guardianship over. Years, wars, and opportunistic thievery have damaged the Great Hall. Stained glass and timbers stand resolute but broken in many places. Some of the upper chambers have collapsed, where warriors once prayed for guidance and restoration. As you look out over the horizon, the sun gleams over the frost cliffs and across the valley below, with the mesa where your companions dwell distant but visible on this new day. A young voice calls to you, with weary wisdom beyond its years. Pilgrim, do you come to offer your deeds? Let us regard your countenance. It is time for the judgment. As you make your way inside the fallen, rotting hall of your order, the rising sun shines through the broken stained glass, illuminating colourful patterns on the worn rugs that cover the stone tile floors. A brisk wind chills you to the bone. You hear music, though there are no players, and see on either side of you a procession of spirits, old and young, your brethren who have quested the pilgrimage road before you. Their faces are encouraging as you make your way down the long path to the sanctum and the last guardian. At the center of the sanctum stands a giant brazier which roars heartily with flame. A voice cries out to you. How have you fallen low? What are your failures? What did you learn? Read aloud or write down the moments where your code became corrupted and how you learned from it. So I think this will probably read, because I think the primary one, the one that matters most to me, because I think in every other instance we followed our code. As we were lost in the forest, following the winding road, uncertain of the way forward, we lost our temper with the travel. And by force we demanded they show us the way, rather than relying on our own abilities and faith that we would make it through. We learned what did we learn? From that instance, from that I think we learned how wrong it feels and how awful it feels to take from someone, to take without giving, to take what is not offered. And we learned never to take again. And I think personally, I think that stands with what we did after that. I think that stands with the way we approached the theatre troupe. We didn't take, we gave time, we gave our sword to defend. What deeds have thou wrought, pilgrim? Declare them. Read aloud each deed. If not, write each onto a piece of paper and lay them before you. Our deeds of renown. We are the survivor of the endless sands. We are friend of desert lions. We are bringer of the ashen sands. We are scourge of woodland travelers. We are the wild lion, defender of the river valley. We are the shield of satirists. We are the wielder of the sun-guard stone, the dancer of stone giants, and the marker of the path. After each, a great shout comes from the assembled spirits, and the fire pops with furious joy. When you are finished, you feel a warm embrace and hear the whispered words, "It is finished." As you open your eyes, the spirits have departed. The shrine is now made whole, as it would have been in the glorious days of your order, sanctified. What happens next is for you and your companions to decide. The Sun Guard's place in this new world is yet to be forged. That's it. That's the game. We did it. First go. We didn't even need to use the extended rules for corruption for when we break our code, although we did arguably break it without gaining a resource. I don't think that mattered. Although we do have acting in anger, you make an enemy, or tactless, you harm someone's reputation, are on the code breaking table, so that's fine. This game is meant to be about hope and learning. Keep that in mind. Feel free to rewind, rework the fiction to suit you. I mean, honestly, I think that's the first time I've read the sentence, "This game is meant to be about hope and learning." And truthfully, the prompts, the way we responded to them, the way the story tells itself over time, at least the prompts that we got, became very apparent that the game is about learning. And is about hope. I mean, there's like when I pulled out the endless stairs, the I am no more worthy than any other member of my guard, but I am no less worthy either. The mistakes we all make along the way are the markers of the path, and with them I found my way here. I have followed the path. If that makes me worthy, then I am worthy. That came from the prompts. Like, I wrote that, but that came, like, that understanding that that's where this was going came from the prompts, came from the journey. So to see it written out like that, that's something that we discovered during play, is honestly very validating. And I think it speaks a lot to how well this game is written, that its thesis statement, what the game is ultimately about conceptually, is something that comes out during play, rather than like a true thesis statement being hammered into you very abruptly at the beginning. Oh, we've got alternate rules as well. Okay. So if we were to play this again, we've got alternate rules. Complications. In this variant, whenever you get a location prompt, roll on the complications table to add an additional element of danger to the encounter, causing an increase in necessary resource use. The intent is to increase the risk of the journey, the chance to fall, and the opportunities to learn from the fall. Rolling location order. In this variant, roll a d4 after creating your character. The result is the location you begin at, then you will continue in the book order. Okay. Penance, a pilgrimage. Journey as the flawed pilgrim. In this variant, begin with d6 resources. The expectation is that one will need to roll the corruption table at least twice. Interesting. I mean, we rolled 2 3s, I believe it was, on our resources at the beginning. So we ended up with 6. And by the end of that, we'd spent time, which is a different resource, not one that we rolled for. We spent an extra bit of time in the beginning. And I'm realizing if we had spent more time as a resource, we wouldn't have made it to the end. I thought at first when we rolled 2 3s, that's less than average on 2d6. The average on 2d6 being 7. But I think it worked out. And I think the way the game is, especially if, like us, you incorporate your signs into the prompt, I think it's not difficult with the base rules to get to the end. And I think that also, as much as I enjoy there being alternate rules for making things more complicated, I actually enjoy the idea that the game as a default is hopeful. The game as a default is winnable. I've found with other journal games that I've played, and this is the first journal game we've played on stream, but not the first journal game I have played. I found that in some of the journal games that I've played, it's very easy to not make it to the end. Those games are almost setting you up to fail because there is a failure ending to your journal. It's nice to have that not be the case. It's nice to win. And we have some alternate spark tables. If we're interested in creating our own prompts for the game, use the table on page 30 and 31. Create a short prompt based on the results. Assess if it is a 1 resource or 2 resource level challenge. So we can make our own prompts as well. Traits, nouns, verbs, locations, complications, magic, subjects, verbs, complications, evocations. So if we wanted to, we could make our own additions to the journey, or we could make our own journey. Gosh, this game is so cool, honestly. Even just 2 pages of tables and that one block there gives someone who wants to make this game their own and to share this game with their friends, if they wanted to do something different for their friends, is so cool. Also, the game is pretty replayable. I mean, you're rolling 2d6 per prompt, so there's what? You can't have a 1. Can't have a 1. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's like what, 10 or 11 prompts per area. So you can, 11 options. Thank you, Dumbass Sapik. I am not great at mathematics. So you can replay this and have a completely different experience. And I mean, of course you can have a completely different experience. There's, 3 different character backgrounds that we didn't pick. We played The Apprentice. There's different spark. There's different options for your characters. Where have we got? We've got different codes. Like if we had been the romantic, we would have had very different responses to the prompts. Acts of valor, poetic acts of valor. We probably would have enjoyed the theater in a different way. But the cloistered, pursue knowledge and gain honor through sacrifice. We probably would have been much more self-sacrificial. and probably spent more resources rather than necessarily tying it to the signs, depending on what the signs are. And that's another element of replayability is those signs, because each sign, there's 2 signs and there's a D8 table, so you've got 8 options for each. So you're gonna have, however many combinations of signs to go along with your code, your descriptors, your name, your traits, and your cherished item. So much replayability. And I mean, what we ended up with, I think, was fantastic. If I were to... I'm just going to quickly copy and cut everything except the journal. So this is just the journal. From that, we spent nearly an hour and 40 minutes playing this game and going through it and reading the rules. But we wrote... That's 1,400 words we've written in 2 hours. In 2 hours during NaNoWriMo, I would expect to write about a daily goal. So 1666. So you've got a lot of avenues for creativity. The game is just genuinely just so amazing and fun, enjoyable, provocative. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to beat. Like, I want to take this line here for a character of mine. I am no more worthy than any other member of my guard, but I am no less worthy either. Even that on its own, I want to steal for a character. The mistakes we all make along the way are the markers of the path, and with them I have found my way here. I have followed the path. If that makes me worthy, then I am worthy. And honestly, hell, that slaps as a line. I was having a conversation with a friend last night. I'm not going to quote from it because that would be a little ridiculous. But I am going to just quickly pull it up for my own edification. So one of the things that I said was I've fallen out of touch with myself and didn't fully realize when that happened. And that I need to get better with a couple of things. And so that's kind of been playing on my mind a bit as well. But I like that line, honestly, I'm proud of it. I'm really proud of that line. The mistakes we all make along the way are the markers of the path, and with them I have found my way here. I have followed the path. If that makes me worthy, then I am worthy. We all make mistakes. The mistakes shape us in different ways. They shape our journey in different ways. But by continuing to follow the path, by winding up here, the mistakes that mark your path haven't ended your journey. If that doesn't make you worthy, then I don't know what does. The Guardian stands aside and allows us to continue on. So this has been fantastic. This is Pilgrimage of the Sun Guard. I'm going to go ahead, drop that exclamation mark guard in chat just to bring up the message, because Pilgrimage of the Sun Guard is a solo-based journaling game by Amanda Pratt, where you create a sun guard and travel alone on a quest, attempting to hold to your code until you reach the end, facing trials and complications along the way. The game is $8 on itch.io. It is well worth those $6. There are community copies that are available if people purchase the game for, I think, $13 US. I'm just checking the... Yep, $13 US, and you also buy a community copy. Every $5 tip adds a copy. Every PDF sale adds a copy. So if you want to make those available for other people, then go ahead and buy the game. If you want to play this for yourself, and remember, it has endless replayability, buy the game. Please do buy the game. It's fantastic. Like, that was a lot of... I know I'm just, saying... I'm not just... Actually, no. Let me really sit here and think about this sentence before I say it out loud, because I don't want to be misunderstood. Playing this game on stream, a little bit in the back of my head made me think I should make this cool. And so I was thinking about ways to make each prompt response solid. But it's not like I went in with a plan on what... Like, I didn't know what numbers I was going to roll. I didn't know what I could write. I didn't honestly know how long I could write before losing viewers, between me reading things out. This game was genuinely fun and insightful. It got me thinking. It is somehow managing to combine tactful resource use and journaling, and the fact that you can enhance your resource use by incorporating certain prompts into your prompt responses. Honestly, it's great. I'm flagging a bit. It's like 9 o'clock. It's a Thursday. I've been working all week. It's been a rough week. So forgive me for not being the most coherent right now. But if I were to say any one thing good about Pilgrimage of the Sun God, it's that it manages to tell its story, the story of hope, of learning from mistakes, of holding to a code not through strict adherence, but through unintentional breaks and reconciliation. It manages to tell that through every prompt, and through the game's design manages to enshrine in the player's responses to the prompts that sense of hope. Pilgrimage of the Sun God was a fantastic experience. Rate that game 5 out of 5. That is by and far the best solo journaling game I've played. Just full stop. It's the best one I've played. Can't believe that background just randomly shifted. Thank you very much, OBS. But that being said, it is 9 o'clock. It is 2 and a bit hours since we've been streaming. This has been Pilgrimage of the Sun God, an incredibly fun game that you should definitely buy because that was so good. That line slaps. I'm enshrining that line in my mind for any situation in which I can bring it up. Thank you so much for watching and for participating in chat throughout the night. I know that it's a bit more of a quiet one. Our first solo adventure game streams tend to be a little quiet. I think people probably forget how interactive it's meant to be. And for a journaling game, it's a little difficult. But rest assured, there are other solo games on the horizon for us here. We will be playing some more games similar to Dead Space, where it's equal parts building a character and also exploring something together, where we'll all be discovering things in real time. There isn't quite as much lag as there is in a solo game, so that will be fun and enjoyable. I don't know when we'll get a chance to play our next one. It probably won't be until later in the month of March, so I'm aware how busy and hectic March tends to be for me generally, for people generally. It's a busy time of year. But what I can tell you for sure is that this Sunday, the 27th of February at 6 p.m. Sydney time, we'll have another installment of Tabletop Tales, where we will talk about some of the various things happening in the RPG space, trying to ignore the controversies, and there have been plenty of them, and focus on the cool little tidbits of news, some Kickstarter things, and tell some stories from my campaigns and hear some stories from yours. That'll be on Sunday, starting at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. on Sunday, the 27th of February. And from there onwards, who knows? I did set up a painting stream. I do now have the ability to do a painting stream. I can even give you almost a quick preview. This is roughly, obviously, currently have the dice cam is the camera that's in the way, but currently have this potential setup starting to happen for a painting stream, with potentially options I'm playing around with for being able to paint while we're reading, while we're listening to various other bits of RPG things. But that's for later. This has been Pilgrimage of the Sun Guard. I have been Pixel, your they, them, forever GM. Thank you so much for dropping by. If you haven't, make sure you follow the stream. Tune in on Sunday for some tabletop tales. And otherwise, have yourself a wonderful evening. Leave my follow links in chat as I leave. And I will talk to you all next time.